What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioWare 3 Raw TV. So, in case many of you haven't noticed, actually some of my friends have noticed, but I started doing these social experiments pretty much about halfway through the quarantine. And some of my friends actually were worried about my mental health, which, look, everybody struggled. Let's fix this fucking camera angle, make that shit square. It's hard to do on this tripod, make this shit square. And some of them were actually worried about my mental health, which I get it. I mean, all of us struggle a little bit, or some more than others during this whole thing. But I learned, or I observed, I should say, real quickly, that about halfway through the quarantine, people lost their filters. First of all, some of them lost their fucking minds, but they definitely lost their filters about things that are going on social media. And what was happening was they would see something and they would react instantly without thinking about it, which that's not how they would have been 6 months ago. They would have actually thought things through, maybe even walked away from a couple of the arguments, whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is they were much more likely to just speak out of emotion and snap rather than actually having anything constructive to say whatsoever. It just became like just a fucking cesspool on Facebook, specifically Facebook. So last night I decided, with racism being very in our face right now, with everything that's going on, and there are people fighting back saying like all lives matter and stuff. There's a bunch of semantics going on right now. I don't think people even realize that. I think that, you know, just the Black Lives Matters to All Lives Matters, just the changing of a couple of words would get everybody on the same page, right? It's semantics. Everybody wants to communicate the way that they know how to communicate. So when they say Black Lives Matters, they mean all lives matter. They mean Black Lives Matter 2. Like if you just added the number 2 or the word 2, Black Lives Matter 2, the people that are saying all lives matter would have understood that. They'd be like, okay, yeah, they matter too. But because you left out the word 2 or the number 2, however you wanted to portray it, all lives matter too, and there's a big fucking discussion, a big argument about that, about how all lives should matter. But it's semantics. Everybody wants the same thing, right? They all want the same thing. Everybody wants to be included. Everybody wants to be respected, loved, and treated as equals. That's it, period. It doesn't matter what color you are, right? So I decided to go with this experiment yesterday. And I really wanted to see, because I kind of had an idea where it was going to go. I said, fuck it, I don't really care. So I put up this picture of this couple. Now, where I got the picture from is interesting too. So it's on this rock climbing page. And there's some unbelievable things that people do rock climbing, guys. Like, I'm not really good at it. I've done the rock climbing walls and stuff. But some of these people, man, they do some insane shit when they're climbing, right? And there's this one picture, if you go over to my Instagram, it's up now, of this. It's like two rocks. There's like a drop right here, probably about 3 feet wide. And there's a lady standing on one side and a man standing on the other. And the lady tossed the baby across to the guy. Now, I'm only going to assume that they're on some kind of hike, some kind of rock climb, and the guy goes over and they're trying to, why you would have a baby with you, whatever. But they're throwing the baby. And like the picture was taken right when she lets go. So the baby's in the air, like fucking flying. And her hands have released, and the guy's like this. So you see their hands, and you see the baby like midair, like kind of like he's flying, right? And when I saw the picture, the first inclination is like, what the fuck? And the second thing that went through my mind is, you know, of course, the talk about racism is going on in my head, and white versus black. And there was this quote that people have said pretty much my whole life, I've heard it, is that's dumb shit that white people do. Like, that's so dumb, only white people do it. Like, white people do such dumb shit. And I go, okay, like, here's the deal. I'm white, and I've done some really fucking dumb shit. A lot of my friends are white, and we've done some really fucking dumb shit. And my black friends haven't done that same dumb shit. I mean, they've probably done their own dumb shit, but they haven't done remotely the dumb shit that we've done. I said, okay, that's a stereotype, but that's accurate. That's true, right? So I said, this fucking picture perfectly outlines that, of a white couple, a white man and woman and a white baby throwing a fucking baby from one rock to another. If that guy fucking misses, that baby hits that fucking rock and he falls to his death, right? That's white people shit. That's what people are talking about when they point it out. They go, that's white people shit. Because you don't see a black couple throwing the fucking baby. Asian couple, it's a fucking white couple, right? So it's very hard to argue a stereotype when there's pictures out there like that. So I said, you know what? This is going to be one of those things that makes people think, right? Because it made me think. Like, just looking at the picture, I had all these different things going through my head. Like, what would other people think? What would their perceptions be? So I said, fuck it, let me post it. So I did. I put a post up saying basically, like, look, it's hard to argue a stereotype about white people doing dumb shit when you have pictures like this. And I basically paraphrasing said, for the rest of my life, when people say, if anybody asks me, like, do you really think white people do dumber shit than other people, I'm gonna show them that picture. Because that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I've seen some dumb shit and done some dumb shit. But throwing your baby to your partner across a fucking ravine, first of all, taking your baby rock climbing, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's a little baby. It's like a little baby, right? So I put it up, and I went to bed. I put it up late, I went to bed. I woke up to people arguing about it. All white people, too. One individual, so pissed off. Jerry, why don't you do your research? That was actually a backpack they threw. Actually it wasn't. It's actually a famous picture in the rock climbing world that I believe was 1995 or something like that. Maybe it's 2005. There was a 5 in there. And it was actually a famous picture that was taken and then promoted on these rock climbing websites. So it wasn't a joke website. It wasn't a inspirational website. It was rock climbing, and that's a famous picture that was taken. And in rock climbing circles, that's actually famous. So this individual yelling at me to do my research didn't even do their own research and figure out where I got it from or what the story is behind the picture. And what's interesting is on the bottom of the picture that I posted, it actually says the famous 1995 picture. It says it right on there. So all you would have to do is just kind of Google it, right? And you would be able to figure it out. He didn't even take the time to do that. He argued. Immediately somebody popped in and said, actually, it's a real picture. And they said, it's from 1995, whatever the case may be. It's a famous picture. But people were reacting without even thinking. And of course, right away, I knew they were coming. Well, Jerry, all lives matter. What are we talking about? I'm like, I'm talking about white people doing dumb shit. And you know what? Guess what? I'm fucking white. I can say white people do dumb shit because I'm white and I do dumb shit and fucking my white friends do dumb shit. Not saying anybody else doesn't do dumb shit, but I can say we do some really fucking dumb shit. And it's a stereotype for a reason because it's fucking out there. It happens. You observe it, right? All lives matter. What are we talking about here? Like, you just took a post about white people doing dumb shit and turned it into all lives matter. Now, my thing is, that baby's life matters, okay? And he's being tossed. In the picture, the kid's like, he's just being thrown. And I'm thinking, that kid has no fucking clue because he's an infant. He's maybe 3, 4, maybe 6 months old tops. He has no clue he's being thrown through the air on these fucking rocks where his life is in danger. Now, eventually someday he'll see that picture and maybe be like, what the fuck, mom and dad? Like, what were you thinking? But for now, that's dumb shit that white people do. And I thought it would be interesting to put it up there and see people's responses, but it went directly in the fucking direction I thought it was. You couldn't just look at it and have a discussion based on what that picture was, right? You couldn't look at it and say, I'm going to shut everything off around me. I'm going to concentrate on what I'm talking about right now, what's in my face, this instance right now. You had to take something else and interject it to try to make it into something else to get. And my thing is, you're not saying that because it has anything to do with the discussion or the picture. You're saying it because you want people to interact with you. You want people to argue. You want people to see your point, and you want to change people's minds and them to think like you. That's why you're bringing that up. The fact that people will go on a post that has nothing to do with racism whatsoever, or I should say all lives matter, or lives that matter at all, and completely hijack it with something else that I wasn't talking about, nobody else was talking about. You completely turned it into a whole nother situation, and that was the whole experiment. Can you just be a person right now without turning something into an argument, a discussion, a pushing of your opinions and values when it wasn't asked, it's not warranted, and nobody gives a fuck, right? Can you be a person? And some people were person. I mean, they completely got what I was doing. They were like, holy shit, Jerry. Like, some people were like, what the fuck? Some people looked it up to see if it was real. But some people just couldn't be a person. They had to be this ball of anger. And my thing is always like, if you're a ball of anger, why aren't you on your page putting it on there? Why do you come to other people's pages? I can't wrap my head around, like, I see shit and I go, that's fucked up, and I keep scrolling. Or I go, that's fucked up, and I go fucking make a sandwich or something. Like, I just don't see the fucking point of getting on someone else's thing and arguing and trying to prove a point or even bring up something that has nothing to do with what the fuck you guys are talking about. Like, make a post on your own fucking page. You want to talk about that? You want to put out that content? Do that. Why are you surfing page to page trying to turn something that was, I felt, a glaring example of stupid shit that white people do? No, don't get me wrong. If I found pictures of black people tossing their kids from fucking rock to rock, I would have posted that. I would have had nothing to talk about because it would have been like, okay, people just do that. But you don't see shit like that, right? So I kind of step back and I go, you know what, like, all these social experiments that I've been doing, and the people think I'm dumb. And I had a discussion with a friend of mine the other day. I said, you know what, People think I'm that fucking dumb meathead. They think I just say shit without fucking thinking, and they think that I do shit without fucking thinking. I don't think anybody, or I shouldn't say anybody, I think some of you out there know by now, but I think a lot of people understand that to open somebody's eyes, you have to show them. You can't just tell them, you have to show them. You have to show people the ugliness, you have to show people the good, you have to show people everything. Without seeing for themselves and understanding, they're never gonna fucking figure it out. And when figure it out, I mean be like solve the problems that they have in their life. So you have to get them to see them. So I may put up a post and I'll let people, as long as they're not arguing, I'll let people speak their mind. I'll let people talk about their views and their perception of it. When they fight, I'm done with that. I don't want fighting. Like, there's no point in a fight. If you want to have your opinion fucking about the subject we're talking about, that's fine. But if you're going to fight and be ugly, you're just fucking going to get banned. I'm going to block you, ban you, or erase your shit. Like, you're just going to disappear. But I think it's important that when, people look at things like, I talked about the Q thing a lot, right? Because I thought that was very interesting shit. I followed it the whole time that we were in quarantine. I follow it now. Now, do I think that everything with the whole Q thing is real? No. But that's what Q actually said. Like, that Q thing actually said there's a lot of disinformation on purpose. Like, it's to mislead people. It says it right when you start following the Q thing. So I thought it was like a lot of fun. I was like, look, there's a lot of fucking bullshit. Like, people think JFK Jr. is still alive. What the fuck? Like, do you guys realize what you're fucking saying? Do you even go back and look and say that these cute things said that we're going to put out disinformation to fuck with everybody because the real information's out there, but we want to make sure that fucking certain people can't figure it out. So we're going to put out all kinds of crazy shit, right? And I talk about this stuff, and I want people to go, wow, man, it's just fucking crazy. And I want them to look into it for themselves and decide for themselves what they think. Like, if you really think JFK is alive, like, more power to you, man. I don't give a fuck. Elvis might be there with him. Fucking Kurt Cobain might be having a fucking beer with him. I don't know. But the bottom line is, like, there's a lot of shit going on out there. And there's a lot of shit that I think people don't think about before they react. And they don't think too deeply in it. And they don't, and I shouldn't say research, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's fake. And it's so hard to discern what's fake and what's real anymore. Like, it's almost impossible now, unless you heard it straight from the source or it was handed to you, like, whatever the case may be. But there's so much garbage out there that I was like, let me see how people actually think. Let me see how people can interact. Let me see if they can be people right now. After this quarantine, after the racial divide that's going on, can they be people? Can they look at themselves? And the post that I put up with the parents throwing the kids, yeah, I was making fun of white people. I was making fun of myself. Like, if you can't laugh at yourself and you take this thing so seriously, then how the fuck are you ever going to change and listen to the other person's fucking topics and the other person's ideas and how they want to change things if you're too hell-bent on taking yourself too seriously? If you're so hell-bent on being serious yourself, that means your ego is so big that you can't see other people's opinions, points of view, and things that they need to be seen and heard, right? So get the fuck over yourself. Everybody. I don't give a fuck what color you are. Get the fuck over yourself. Right? We should be talking about how to create change, how to do new things, how to move forward. Instead, we're arguing about all lives matter still, when what the fuck, I think we all agreed that shit fucking a week ago, that all lives matter. And on top of that, most of us now realize that it was semantics fucking everything up. And really, it shouldn't be Black Lives Matter as a slogan. It should be all lives matter, including Black lives. It should be a whole slogan, not just a few words. But it's not catchy like that. Catchy, Black Lives Matter is very catchy, right? That's awesome. It's very good for promotional stuff. It's very good to get, the social media rallied around it, hashtags and stuff like that. But I think, like, anybody out there right now who thinks that fucking all lives don't matter, or if you think the Black Lives Matter thing stands for only black people, like, you got to go back, you got to research, you got to check yourself. And you have to really be open to what's going on out there and not just fucking think about what you think and how you feel. It's not about you. It's about the rest of the world right now. It's not just America. It's all over the fucking world. It's about everybody coming together to move forward in a better way, in a better place, so everybody feels included. We're all in agreement to that. But people can't let it go. They're still, and that's the problem, they're still stuck in their ways of thinking a certain way. And I completely believe that if you're out there going, well, Jerry, why are you going to make it about race? Why are you going to make it about white people? And you're a white person saying that, why do you fucking care? Why can't you look at yourself as a stereotype and go, yeah, well, that shit happens. Why can't you just fucking take your ego and put it aside? Say, yeah, white people do some fucking really dumb shit. Everybody does some really dumb shit, but white people have a tendency to do really fucking dumb shit. Cannibals, let's be real. I haven't seen a single fucking cannibal story anywhere ever about a black person. Every time someone gets caught as a fucking serial killer that's a cannibal, it's always a fucking white dude. It's not even a woman, it's a white dude. It's white dudes killing people in random fucking strange ways, eating them and wearing their skin. Like, that's real, right? That's legit. So why the fuck can't you just say, okay, that's real, that's legit, that makes sense, that's where a stereotype comes from. White people do really dumb shit. And laugh it off. That's the problem. Without being able to fucking smile at it, laugh at it, and go, I see where that comes from, and moving on, you now create a divide because you're like, no, it's not. And you want to argue when it's right in front of your face. Here's the proof. It's right in front of your face. Why can't you just go, okay, and walk away from it? Ego. Ego is what keeps you locked down. Ego is what keeps you wrapped up in your own head. Ego is what keeps you from moving forward. Ego is what keeps this world from becoming a better place. Everybody's fucking egos. So the experiment is kind of over now. I just wanted to see where everybody would come from with it. And, you know, I think the quarantine itself in general has really showed me who people really are at heart. And it really challenged people to stand to their own morals and their own values and their own decisions in their own lives. And as the stress started to increase, everything started to crack. And things started to ooze out of these cracks. And you saw what was really inside of them as the cracks were happening. And I think that I think it's a good and bad thing, to be totally honest with you. I think that it's a good thing where you know who the people are really around you. Like, you know who they really are now and what they're about. And the bad part is there's some of those people that are not going to be in your life anymore because they're not for you. You know what I mean? They're not about living their best life. They're about drama. They're about themselves rather than everyone else around them. And maybe some of them just are scared. Maybe some just don't know what to do with this new world that we're moving into. But bottom line is where everything's shifting right now and things are happening, and it is going to be a whole new world. And I think that that's a good thing. Like Aaron and I talked before, like we were like, look, this shit has to change around this world. It's pretty fucked up. Like, it's pretty jacked up right now. And I think we're all in agreement that change had to happen at some point. It just happens to be now. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Like I said, enjoy the rest of your day. The weekend's coming up. Hopefully your gyms are open. Hopefully you guys are in phase 1, 2, 5, 12, whatever the fuck is going on. But above all, with racial divide and things that are going on right now, try not to take yourself so seriously. Try not to take everything so seriously that's said, because a lot of the things are based on facts. Some of the things are based on emotion and people lashing out, but that emotion has to come out somehow, right? So maybe take a step back and be like, man, that person's lashing out because they're just pissed about X, Y, Z. It's not really to do with me. Instead of arguing with them, just kind of keep scrolling, let them do their thing and not have to worry about too much. And I think everything kind of would be better off or in a better situation if everybody did their own thing and just paid attention to themselves, took care of themselves, and then just tried to move forward. I'm Bias Street and I approve this message, and we're out.